Just summarizing the discussion, if you don't have the time and you want to quickly know whether BH number plates, what are the pros and cons, Rajesh has graciously shared this with us. So let me start with the pros. First pro, there is no hassle of RTO when you change states. So if you are moving from Delhi to Karnataka, you don't need to go to Karnataka, get an NOC from Delhi state, go to Karnataka, get the number change, none of that hassle. The same BH number plate can take you across states and no traffic police is ever going to stop you for the BH number plate in any state. Second is there is no upfront payment. So very low upfront payment rather, which reduces the overall cost of the car. Because BH is renewed every 2 years, there is low upfront payment. You could actually upgrade to a bigger model, a better model because of the savings that you're seeing in a BH number plate. Third is lower road tax percentage. So one upfront payment is one, road tax percentage is lower. And fourth one is it can be sold easily if you move states. So even if you move jobs and move to Karnataka tomorrow, you can sell the car easily and relatively easily as compared to selling a Delhi number plate in Karnataka. What are the cons? There are a bunch of cons and restrictions. The first one is you need to keep track every 2 years to make sure that you renew your BH number plate because you're not paying for the lifetime of the car, you're paying it in tranches of 2 years. Second one is there are no VIP number plates allowed, which might be a good thing or a bad thing how you look at it, but in case you are the VIP number plate types, you will not get it here. Third is it is not applicable in all states. It's not available in all states right now. We know Haryana has not allowed it. We know Maharashtra hasn't allowed it. So check with your state authorities on where your state stands on BH number plates. Fourth is not everybody is applicable for it. There are 4 criteria that we mentioned in the video. You can check at those. If you fall under that criteria only, then are you applicable for it. Fifth is commercial vehicles are not applicable for it. And the last one is that old vehicles that are looking to re-register are not applicable. Only new vehicles are applicable for a BH number plate. Alright everybody, thank you for tuning in. We have Rajesh today. Rajesh has graciously agreed to come on the channel and talk about something which I found very exciting. It's BH number plates, also known as Bharat number plates. You might have heard of these and there are a lot of misconceptions around these number plates. Rajesh has gone deep into Bharat number plates. He's a fellow Googler who works in Google Cloud. Rajesh?
Yeah.
So we'll quickly hear from Rajesh. Rajesh, why don't you quickly introduce yourself?
So thanks, Pranay, for having me on your show, your YouTube channel. So,
Show nahi hai, वार्तालाप hai.
It's going to be show in long run. So yeah, so this is Rajesh Kumar, and I have been in IT industry since last 10 years, and I just sent out an information as an announcement that hey, I got BH number somehow, and that was pretty complex, process. It seems a very simpler, but if you go on a ground, you'll see a lot of chaos is happening.
Rajesh, which car did you buy? Let's begin with that, the exciting bit.
So this is my first car, and I'm a new driver. I'm not a professional driver, so. So the story behind this, since childhood, I'm, more into those, pretty fancy cars, okay, Polo dekh liya road pe, to, oh, what a car, Mercedes and also, although I'm not that rich guy to purchase Mercedes, but yeah, Skoda is one of the car which I prefer and really like. And on a normal days, I go out and I every time I see Skoda, maybe Super, maybe nowadays I saw a lot of Kushaq is going on, so I purchased Kushaq.
Lovely.
And the Ambition model, which is the middle variant model. Initially, I thought to take the top model, which is Monte Carlo, but budget was really high on that piece, so I thought to let's take a middle variant. So
how was your experience with the Kushaq?
Yeah, so what I found that kind of a smoothness in Skoda is you can't feel that lag at all.
DSG ka?
You're driving, yeah.
DSG ka kamal hai wo, I think.
Yeah, DSG ka kamal hai. And the torque converter is also there, who doesn't feel you okay, first se second pe ja raha hai. So there's minute, even not minute, you can't think of that, okay, something is changing. You just simply drive and the speed is going on and you start pick up, within 4 or 5 seconds, you can touch 60 or 70.
So let's jump into the number plate.
Yeah,
where are you based? Let's start with that.
So most of the time I spent in Delhi, the capital, and I then in 2007, so I completed my graduate in 2014. First job happened. I spent around 2.5 years in Gurgaon. Later on, I moved to Mumbai for 3 years. After that, in 2020 or mid 2019, I came to Pune. So since 2019, since last 5 years, I'm in Pune.
So you're in Pune?
Settled down here.
But you've been switching because I see you already done 3 cities, right? First you were in Gurgaon,
Yeah.
then you were in Mumbai, now you're in Pune. God knows tomorrow where your job takes
Yeah.
you, and that's why probably Bharat number plate is why you were inclined towards. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what are the pros and cons of the BH number plate.
So the very first pros is like you don't have to worry about those paperwork and go to RTO offices and talk to those brokers, like change my the certificates and also that is one. Second pros.
If I understand this first pro correctly, you're saying that if you change cities or states, you don't need to get your number plate changed. You can just continue with the same registration, right?
BH is the project that government did is like to smoothen this process. Because right now, if I talk about the eligibility criteria, there are 4 criteria I can see here. One is it's only eligible for the central government. Initially, it was central government and state government employees. Second is PSU sector, where you are working in like BHEL or ONGC, MTNL, BSNL, you are working. That is second. Third is the most important, defense. If you're coming from a defense background and you have a defense personnel, so you can avail this number. And the fourth, the last is the IT sector, where people are basically the companies in more than 4 states, and you have a chance to go switch to different states. So these are 4 categories that you can look for.
And you fell under the 4th category because Google has offices in multiple states, and therefore you were eligible for this.
Yeah. So that's how it started actually.
Rajesh, let's take this with an example, right? So you had your Kushaq. How much? And you are based in Pune, so you had 2 options. Either you could go for a Maharashtra number plate, or you could go for a BH number plate. Can you walk us through how much of the registration difference there was between a Maharashtra number plate and a BH number plate on your Kushaq?
Yeah, sure. So if I go with the Maharashtra number with a regular registration, so if we talk about the ex-showroom price, which is like 15,75,000 in my case, and if I add like 12% on top of this, because Maharashtra government takes 12% road tax on this, so it will add up to the final value, which is coming around 18,50,000. So the cost which I'm bearing for the tax is somewhere around 1,90,000 or 92,000, something like that. So that is the whole figure. Like 15,75,000 is the ex-showroom price. 12% on tax on that particular price will come around 1,90,000 round figure. As now you compare with the BH number, you just remove this 12% as of now, and 15,75,000 is going to be the same. But there's a catch. In BH number, it's not always applicable on the ex-showroom price. If you have that information, you can talk to dealer that whatever the discount that you're giving me, the total discount you're giving me on the invoicing, that invoice price is going to be the base price for me to calculate the registration tax, right, for BH specifically. So here's the deal. So the 15,75,000 rupees is not going to be your base. It's going to be lesser than that based on the invoice that you're getting. So it can be like 50,000 lesser than that based on your negotiation skills, right? So there's a bracket for the BH. If your car fall less than 10 lakh, you have to only bear 8%. If it is between 10 to 20 lakh, you have to only give 10%. So 2% you are earning if you compare with the regular one. And the beyond 20 lakh, it's always like a 12%. So if you calculate this, you are going to save a lot of money in terms of overall percentage, but upfront cost is way lesser than if you go with the regular one. Because 15,70,000 rupees was the base price, and we just cut it down, and you don't have to pay 1,90,000 extra amount in one go, and you just need to bear the fractional amount, which I'm going to tell you about in the next part, like how this is going to be divided.
So on the BH front, you're saying there's a 2% benefit in your case, right?
Yeah.
तो आपको वहाँ पे
No, this overall case.
But in Maharashtra, let's take the Maharashtra case, right? अब बाकी states का अलग है. So in your example, there was वहाँ पे महाराष्ट्र में आपको 12% देने थे, यहाँ पे आपको 10% देने हैं. तो पहला तो 2% का ये फायदा है. Second advantage is कि जो आपका base है, that is not ex-showroom price, that is actually lower because you have some additional discounts, and so the 10% is calculated on a lower base, and therefore you make that saving. So let's take an example again, assuming you got 50,000 rupees of discount from the dealer. So it could be 15 lakh 25,000 becomes your ex showroom, and uspe 10%, which becomes 1.52 lakhs, as opposed to in the Maharashtra example you had 1.9 lakhs, and so you're almost saving 40,000 rupees through a BH number plate. Is that a fair understanding?
Yeah, that's a fair understanding. And I was jumping on the next part just to expand this or just drill down this particular amount, 1,50,000. So once you see this difference, right? Overall, we are getting some kind of a discount, right? But later on, you're not paying this entire amount in one go. In BH case, you just need to give. So in the regular registration, you have to pay 15 years per tax, right? In one go. But here you have to give this amount on a frequency basis, which is like 2 years frequency, right? The 2 year frequency is set, so you need to pay in 7 times that particular. So till your the RC age is going to be in your 15 years, 14 years, you're going to pay the last EMI for that, right? So 2 into 7 is 14, right? 14 years you've passed your car, so you have to pay the last EMI on that particular day. So 7 different you have to divide the particular 1,50,000
What
to
you're saying
7
is 1,50,000 divided by the life of the car, which is 15 years. तो आपका हो गया 1,000 रुपए. Sorry, 10,000 रुपए. 1,50,000 divided by 15 multiplied by 2 years, because you're paying it in 2 years.
2
sums,
years,
right?
yeah,
So
right.
instead of paying 1,90,000 upfront in Maharashtra, you're actually end up paying 20,000 rupees in this case.
20,000 rupees plus GST. That's it. You'll just come around 22 or 23,000.
Wow.
Again, depends on like from which state you are applying for the
But
BH.
let's take your example just to give people an idea. Otherwise, the 28 states will not be able to
My
cover it.
example, I paid only 24,000 rupees.
Wow.
So I saved 1,70,000 rupees upfront because, and why I did this, and again the pros is I was not afford. Well, this price was not affordable for me, to be frank. 18 lakh, I was not thinking of to buy any particular car. So I was strictly till the point of 15 lakhs or 16 lakh, not even like more than that. So I thought, let's take an advantage of this. I don't have to pay this much amount. I just need to pay like 15 lakh something based on my discount, which I get. By the way, I got discount of 3 lakh from Skoda overall. So the overall cost which I paid is 15 lakh 45,000 only. That's it. Not a single penny more than that.
So, and so registration had actually a huge role to play in it, because you saved almost 1,70,000 rupees flat on registration at the time of purchase. Now, one can argue that, hey, you have to still pay 20,000 rupees at the end of the second year. But then I can argue back saying you could invest all of that extra money in an equity fund and you can earn 12% on it or 10% on it. Even if you put it in a debt fund, you'll earn some money on it, as opposed to paying it to the RTO, where you're not going to get that money back. It's gone down the drain, right? So you are saving that 1,50,000 rupees almost, and even if you invest it for 2 years, you'll make some money, and even that could
for 15 years. Let's think of like you just done the entire payment and just save that money, the debt amount for 15 years.
Exactly.
You'll see the crazy amount in the next 15 years.
Correct. So it's
that's a very, very real insight.
Huge opportunity cost of you're actually benefiting from that. So that's one.
Yeah.
2, you are not going to keep the car for 15 years. In all likelihood, you'll sell it in 5 years, 6 years. So when you're selling it, the next owner actually then takes charge of that registration. So you don't have to pay for the entire registration. You just pay for the time you use. So that's another really beneficial thing with this BH registration.
Yeah, that's true. And then you rightly said, Pranay, about that cons, right? People need to consecutively you need to track those registration charges every 2 years. But you can nowadays you see the process is really online. Entire thing is online, so you don't have to worry about. You'll get those alerts, notification. Hey, you need to pay this, and you'll also get some kind of a grace period if you miss that particular timeline. So that is also
जैसे लोग इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम भरते हैं ना, हर दूसरे साल अपना 1-2 साल में आपका इंश्योरेंस रिन्यू करते ही हो, साथ में अपनी रजिस्ट्रेशन भी रिन्यू कर लो. I had one more question around resale. So if you're reselling these cars, do you know if these cars are resold easily? Are they harder to resell? 1, 2, from a price standpoint, do they go for cheaper than a Maharashtra registration, or will they command the same price in the market, in the resale market?
I think right now process is bit it is not disclosed with the entire, or the people, right, around you. So people might scared about this. If we have a BH number, we can't resell it. So that is currently happening in the market. If you talk to dealers, and they will afraid you, telling that, hey, don't go for this, and you'll have to suffer a lot with the BH. So you don't sell your car easily. But that is not the case. So process is very simple. You have a BH number registered on your name. Now you are going to sell it. You're going to transfer your ownership to another person. That's it. And that is some kind of a form 27, which is, I remember, that is going to be filled out and just submitted to RTO, and that ownership is going to be handed over to the new owner. And there's no kind of any extra complexities is being added in this process. So this is very simple as you go in the regular one. Yeah.
So from a price standpoint, so you're saying from a buyer standpoint, I don't think it's a problem. In fact, if anything, it'll become easier for you to sell it, right? आज आप पुणे में हो, कल आप बैंगलोर चले गए मान लो, अब आप बैंगलोर में वो महाराष्ट्र नंबर प्लेट बेचते रहोगे, आपका कोई बायर ही नहीं मिलेगा. एज अपोज टू बीएच नंबर प्लेट आराम से बिक जाएगी आपकी.
Correct. So, target audience is there to sell your car, right? For BH. So that's.
Let's now move on to the process. How easy or difficult, or rather, like आपने बोला कि वो 4 criteria हैं. You fall under the 4th criteria of a corporate employee where the corporate has GST certificates in at least 4 states. So what were the documents that you required from your workplace, and was it easy to obtain? Like, what was your entire process like? If you can talk a little bit about, if somebody has to do this, how should they think about it?
Okay. For my case, it was a bit, difficult because in Maharashtra, right now, BH registration is stopped. What I did, first of all, I just talked to my dealer, Skoda dealer, saying, hey, I need BH number. They said, we need sort of these documents. So there are a couple of documents. One is the working certificate, in which company that you're working. This called is Form 60 that you need, and that should list all those states where your company is situated with those GST numbers. So that is one prerequisite that you need to give. Second is the office ID that you need to give. And the third is the transfer letter, because we are saying that we need to switch from one state to another state, right? So they need to you give on a paper from company on a kind of a letterhead that just write it down that in future maybe they can go on different state because of the business standpoint, right? Business need. So that kind of a letter that you need. So I prepared all those docs, give it to the dealer, but dealer said nothing is happening at the BHN. So they simply denied that they are not going to apply for that. So Maharashtra is a bit difficult. So one of my friend suggested me to just take your car on a temporary certificate, which is like 30 days you'll get. And you just go to Delhi, because I was traveling at that time. So just go to Delhi, talk to one of the RT consultant. They will guide you, because in Delhi, there's no such kind of a norm, right? You can just simply say that that I need BH number, and they will just need. So they just given me a couple of document lists. I need to provide them. Same. Working certificate, one prerequisite. Second, transfer letter. Again, a letterhead that is must with stamp and sign of HR. Third is the ID, right? And the last one is the GST certificates for all those 4 states. If you're not giving that, there's a chance that your application is going to be rejected. Because for my case, it was happened. There was some kind of a miscommunication happened between me and consultant. They didn't mention about the GST certificate, and later on when I received my car, the delivery was happened, I didn't have that particular number. So I just, so thanks to the HR team in my company, so they just took this as an urgent basis, and they gave me the GST certificate for all those 5 states, right? Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad.
Got it. Amazing. So you so you drove down from Pune to Delhi to get this registered?
No. So I didn't drove to Delhi by my car, but I purchased this car from Maharashtra on PRTM. It is your temporary certificate, which is a different process. And then I just being in touch with one of the RTO consultants in Delhi. They just took a minimum price, like 4,000 or 5,000 rupees from my end, and they just did everything from my end. There's no physical Yeah. There's no physical, evidence I had to show to the RTO that I'm here, I'm living. The only catch you mentioned about, in a earlier of this call, that your Aadhaar needs to be your at the Delhi place, right? So my Aadhaar, because I'm living in Delhi since last 25 years. So yeah, so my Aadhaar was situated from that particular location, and my driving license was also from that particular option. So I was in, good hands.
Amazing, amazing. This is so insightful.
Yeah.
I had no idea about all of this, so thank you so much for sharing this. Because even in Haryana, just adding to that point, that how Maharashtra doesn't have BH number plates, even Haryana doesn't have BH number plates. How much time did it take you from to do the entire process, from when you got the car till when you actually got the number?
Okay. So I got this car on this 10th of May only, this month. I got delivered, but without my BH number. So since the process was going on in the back end, once I couriered all the documents to my RTO consultant, which I already told you about that in Delhi. So they just confirmed that they received the document. Onward that it just took only 24 hours for them to give me the user ID and password to pay that minimum amount of the tax. And after like 4 or 5 hours, I received the information that, hey, from the original government authorities, that this is a number which is registered for your vehicle. So then that number, I just send it to my dealer saying, let's go with the further process to print my security plate. And that took almost 2 days, because since I registered this number from Delhi RTO, so they said from Maharashtra, the upper 5 states are banned to print this plate. So they usually, print this plate from Gujarat. So Gujarat was denying that we are not going to print it because this is from Delhi. So I again sent this to like Delhi RTO saying that this is not happening at my end. So they printed that in Delhi and then couriered back. So if you look at the process, if you go with the simple process based on the state, it hardly takes 3 to 4 days, right? But since the process is still unknown, unfigured, right? So it might take almost a week or 10 days sort of. So it's not that much complex, but yeah.
I feel like
Sometimes it does.
I feel like what's happening here is that states are making it harder for people to get the BH number plate because they probably don't make as much money, right? And that's where the game is. If you
Definitely.
value the money that you're saving, which is significant, you're giving only 20,000 rupees as opposed to 1,90,000 rupees upfront, and therefore the opportunity cost of that money, even at an overall level, you're paying lesser over a 15-year period. If that is of worth to you, you can go through this slightly painstaking process to get it done, depending on the state you are in, if you are eligible for it. Because the states don't want you to do it because they are losing revenue. So it's entirely up to you on what you want to do and how you want to proceed with this. I think I'm definitely going to try and get a BH number plate. I feel like it's a journey that you embark on, and whether you get it or you don't get it is in the hands of the RTO gods. But thank you so much for sharing your experience. Would you recommend it? Knowing everything we know, knowing everything that you went through, would you recommend getting a BH number plate?
Uh, First, I would say like it depends. Like first, you figure out like, is it really required for you? Are you going to, you know, is it going to happen to you that you're going to change your city, the state, not city, in near future, right? If it is that kind of a nature of your job, then highly recommend it because you're going to be hassle free from these kind of a processes, right? And second, yeah, as I mentioned that the upfront cost is going to give you a lot of benefit in terms of choosing your most preferable car instead like you just changing your thought that okay, I don't have that much budget, and you just go purchasing the lower variant, right? You can still afford the middle variant or top variant. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you have stayed back for this long, can I please request you to like this video? Share it with one friend, just that one friend who might be in the market for a car, and do them a favor. Let them know more about the Bharat number plate so that they can make the most of it. Comment it, tell me what you think. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll get Rajesh to take a look and answer them. And please consider subscribing to the channel. It's a very new channel and I would really love your support. It keeps me going and churning out videos every week for you. So thank you so much and see you in the next one.